Hi everyone, welcome back to Geeks for Geeks. In this video, we'll be discussing the problem missing in array. The problem says that we'll be given an array of n minus 1 elements and every element is distinct in this array. The elements in the array will be in the range from 1 to n. So basically, all the elements will be in the range 1 to n and total number of elements in the array are n minus 1. Now what we need to do is we need to find the missing element because you can understand that the range is from 1 to n. So from 1 to n, total number of elements are n, but in the array actually there are n minus 1 element, so one element is lesser. So that is why one element is missing from the range 1 to n, and we need to find that missing element. Now how can we solve this particular problem? So if you will see the first test case, let's say we have got 1, 2, 3 and 5. Suppose that n value is what? Suppose that n value is 5 and we have got the array as what? Let's say we have got the array as 1, 2, 1, then 2, then what? 3, and then after that we have got 5. So these are the elements of the array that we have. Now what is the missing element if we will look directly? So the missing element of the array is basically 4, because 4 is missing from 1 to 5, only 4 is missing. Now how can I solve this problem? So basically I can use the XOR property. Now what happens is, if there is a particular element, let's say y, and I take the XOR of y with y, then what do we get? We get basically 0. So basically, if we will take the XOR of the same elements, then the result is 0. So the result gets nullified. Basically, if two elements are same, then the XOR becomes 0. So how can we use this property? So if you will observe here, let's say we have got 5 and we take 5 XOR 5. Now 5 XOR 5 is what? 5 is basically 101. Take the XOR with 101. Whenever bits are same in XOR, they become 0, right? So you can see here 0, 0, 0. So ultimately you will get 0. So whenever the numbers are same and you take the XOR, then you get 0. How can we use this property? So basically what I can do is I can declare a variable and I can take the XOR of all the elements from 1 to 5. So what I can do is, let's say I'll take a XOR variable and initially I will update the XOR of all the elements from 1 to 5. So I'll take the XOR from 1 till n. So basically 1, XOR 2, XOR 3, XOR 4, XOR 5. This is what we have. This is the normal XOR that we have. Now what we will do is, if you take the XOR of the array element, let's name a variable array XOR. Now in another variable, if I take the array XOR, let's say the elements are 1, 2, 3 and 5. So I'll take the XOR of that, 1 XOR, 2 XOR, 3 XOR what? 5. Now after this, what we will do is, if we will take the complete XOR, okay, if we'll take the XOR of this range from 1 till n and the XOR of the array. Now what will happen? Basically you will get you will see that now 1 XOR 1, XOR 2, XOR 2, XOR 3, XOR 3, XOR 4, XOR 5, XOR 5. This is what we get when we take the XOR of the range 1 to 5 with the XOR of the array, right? Then we get what? Then we will observe that duplicate elements are present, right? 1, 2, 3 and 5. Because 1, 2, 3 and 5, what is the special thing about them? 1, 2, 3 and 5, they are present in the array as well as in the range. So they will neglect each other, they will nullify each other. So what will happen is, you will get 0 XOR with what? With 4. And 0 XOR 4, like 0 XOR with any element y is what? That element itself. So 0 XOR with 4 is what? 4. So when you take the XOR now, so you'll observe that you get the single element that is there, right? The missing element basically. So this is how we can apply the XOR property and we can get our answer. So what we did was, we just took the XOR of the whole range, and then after taking the XOR of the whole range, we took the array XOR also. Now when we take the XOR of the range and the array XOR, right, then the elements that are present in the range as well as in the array, they will get what? They will get nullified. So they will become 0 because duplicates will cancel each other. So single missing element will be there, which is in the range but not in the array. Okay, so that will be the missing element for me. I hope you have understood this. Basically, I'll be iterating through a loop for this, and let's try and code this problem up. So what I'll do here is, I'll basically first of all declare a XOR variable. This will be the range XOR. So let's say I'll write this as range XOR. Okay. So this variable is going to help me to take the XOR of the range. So range XOR is what? 0. Then after that, what we will do here is, we'll iterate. Let's say int I starts from what? 0 till I starts from 1 till I is less than equal to n. Then we'll do I plus plus, and then after that we'll do what? We'll say that range XOR is equal to ARR of is equal to I. So we are taking the range XOR for all the elements from 1 to n. Now we need to declare another variable arr XOR. This would help us to take the XOR of the whole array elements. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll iterate I starts from 0, I is less than arr dot size, although I could have done something else, but yeah, like we'll iterate throughout the array and we'll take the XOR. So arr XOR is equal to arr of I. So we'll take the XOR of the array elements, and then after that ultimately we need to do what? We need to return the array XOR with what? With the range XOR. Okay, so this is something that needs to be done. Let's try and compile this code to check if it is working fine or not. Okay, you can see that it is working fine. Now let's submit this code and check if the code is getting accepted. So you can see here that the code is getting accepted. Again, repeating the same. Firstly, I took the XOR of the whole range from 1 till n in the range XOR variable. Then after that, I declared the array XOR. I took the XOR of the whole array elements, and then the missing element would be there in the range XOR, but it will not be there in the array XOR. All the other elements would be there in the array as well as in the range, so they will nullify each other, and only the missing element would be remaining. Now talking about the time complexity of my code. So time complexity would be basically order of n here. Okay, because we are iterating throughout the array, right? It will be order of n plus order of n, you can say, because we are iterating through the range and the array. So overall it is going to be linear only, that is order of n. Talking about the space complexity is going to be order of 1, because I am not taking any extra variable here. So I hope you have understood this question clearly. In case if you have any doubts, you can mention them in the comments and I'll reply to them as soon as possible. Thank you for watching this video.